Please be seated. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the baccalaureate ceremony to celebrate Bentley University's very special class of 2018. You will probably be tired of hearing this by the end of this weekend, but I want to be the first to say congratulations to every one of my fellow classmates under this tent for this outstanding accomplishment. So what even is baccalaureate? Can anybody even spell baccalaureate? I definitely can't. This is a student-designed ceremony that includes several student, staff, and faculty speakers chosen specially by our class. Today, we take the time to pause and reflect on our Bentley experience. And tomorrow, we celebrate the culmination of our years at Bentley and look forward to our futures. We have all persevered through our share of stress-filled, caffeine-fueled late nights turned early morning to reach this ultimate moment of victory. What was it that kept us pushing through the struggle instead of diving into our beds in defeat? It was certainly not the caffeine, because we all know that fades surprisingly quickly. So what was our motivation? It was our passion, purpose, and people. It was our passion for excellence, our unique sense of purpose at Bentley, and the people sitting to your left and right that truly made it possible for us to be sitting here together in these robes that make me feel like a Harry Potter character. Today is a day for us to celebrate each other's accomplishments, talents, and aspirations for the future. Although many of us joke about being Paratus, it is undeniable that Bentley has prepared every one of us for our journey to discover our passion and purpose in life. It is mind-blowing how fast these 4 years have flown by in what feels like the blink of an eye. But when I reflect on the memories that we have all shared together as classmates, teammates, roommates, and friends, I know that these years were filled with love that we will remember for life. Today, we have the opportunity to reminisce on these times with our classmates and hear from two of the most well-respected and coolest faculty and staff at Bentley. I hope we can all take their words to heart and remember this moment. Thank you, class of 2018, for being here, and enjoy the ceremony.
It has been my delight to work with the senior class cabinet in planning today's baccalaureate service. This class cab, they are spirited, humble, and an inspiring group of students. And I would like to invite our class cabinet to stand so we could enthusiastically thank them. Indeed, this is a moment of incredible joy. There is something in the very cathedral of our hearts that's crying out in gratitude right now. Can you feel it? Can you feel how exciting and wonderful this moment is? And for me, deep joy and gratitude are doorways for prayer and reflection. So I invite you to pause amidst all of our busyness, to pause for a moment, to reflect and to pray in the name of all that we call holy. In the spirit of our Interfaith Center, at the conclusion of the prayer, we will pause in silence, allowing time for each one to mark the occasion according to your personal tradition. I invite you to join me in prayer and reflection. To the one we name God, Adonai, Allah, Creator, to the source of life, love, and blessing in the universe, we come together in reverence as we pause to reflect. We thank you for all the seasons in our lives, for the beginnings, for the endings, for the opportunities, and for all of the challenges. Even these, we give you thanks. We pray in gratitude for the many talents honed and the fine character developed by the men and women of the class of 2018. We give you thanks for their families and friends and mentors who always believed that this day of accomplishment would come. Our students are poised on the threshold of a new door, a door of transition into a new chapter of life. We ask, O Holy One, that they may share their gifts with a world yearning for compassion, hungry for justice, and ripe with possibility. Guide us, gracious Lord, as we boldly step out in faith and joy. Amen. I now call Dr. Vicki Lafarge forward to proceed with the academic hooding, and I invite the class of 2018 to stand.
The academic hood has been worn by generations of educated men and women. It symbolizes by its colors the academic specialty of the wearer and the university conferring the degree. Tan for business, white for liberal studies, blue and gold for Bentley. At this time, I call upon Sydney McLeod, president of the class of 2018, to receive the academic hood on behalf of the entire class. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2018, you have received the insignia of your academic achievements. Wear them proudly for the honor of your alma mater. Welcome to the company of educated men and women. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to the class of 2018. In my years at Bentley, I have experienced more than just professional and educational development. I have also experienced spiritual development. My name is Anushka Mishra, and I am an international student at Bentley from India, where the roots of long-standing Hindu tradition emphasize on the direct connection between the learning and spiritual wisdom, where education evolves from understanding the sacred mystery of the universe. I have selected for you the following verse from chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, which is a highly respectable Hindu scripture with the teachings of Lord Krishna. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitre karnevacha nirmomo nirankara samudukshami. The direct translation of this Sanskrit verse states, "A person who hates no creature, who is friendly and compassionate to all, who is free of possessiveness, devoid of ego, and composed in pleasure and pain, and forgiving, is always content, full of resolve, and achieves enlightenment. This verse has great significance in my life because of its simplicity. This life lesson by Lord Krishna teaches us the importance of a balanced life, the importance that enlightenment can only be achieved through kindness and love, compassion and forgiveness. Lastly, indicating that enlightenment through education is the ultimate objective of human endeavor. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, I would like to thank the senior class cabinet for the invitation to speak today. It is truly an honor to be a part of your baccalaureate ceremony. I also want to extend my thanks to President Gloria Larson for all that you have done during your tenure at Bentley. You are leaving this institution a much better place than when you arrived. You have made a difference in all of our lives. It is assumed that coaches possess a unique talent to motivate people, saying just the right words that will inspire them to achieve victory. In the course of my 32-year career at Bentley, our basketball teams have played in a lot of big games, and I've had to give a number of important pregame speeches. A few years ago, we were in the midst of an undefeated season, and we were facing one of our biggest rivals in a very important conference game. I knew I had to deliver a powerful motivational speech. I can remember it vividly. The team was seated in front of me. I could feel the electricity in the locker room as my words were having the desired effect on our players. My assistant coaches were fired up, I was fired up, the team was fired up. Our opponent had no chance against us. As I concluded my speech, the players burst out of the locker room, ran down the corridor, and out onto the floor of the Dana Center. The game began, and within the first 5 minutes, we were down 17-2. So much for being a master motivator. In preparing my remarks for today's ceremony, I kept thinking about the 4 seniors on our basketball team. What would I want to say to them on this occasion of their baccalaureate ceremony? It became clear to me that the message I wanted to convey to them applies to all of you as well. So for today, let's pretend that you are all members of my team, which is not that hard to do, by the way, since you all have the same uniform on. So team, on the eve of your commencement, before you head out to face the challenges that lie ahead, let me offer some final thoughts to you, the class of 2018. I want you to know how proud I am of you. I'm proud of the determination you have shown to make it to this day, knowing that you worked so hard for the last 4 years to earn your degree from Bentley University. It hasn't been easy. You encountered a rigorous curriculum right off the bat, starting with GB 112 and GB 212, not for the faint of heart. And those 2 classes were just a preview of more demanding classes to come. You struggled to find the right internships, to study abroad, and enhance your resume. Perhaps even more challenging and equally impressive was the fact that you learned to live with a total stranger in a small box of a room your first 8 months away from home. And you developed your survival skills by making it through New England winters that last until May 19th. Through all the good days and not so good days, you persevered. You faced challenging situations, dealt with adversity, and even suffered some failure along the way. But you learned how to handle those setbacks. You knew that a lack of success was temporary, providing you with a reason to reevaluate and figure out how to do things better the next time. You bounced back, you became resilient, and more determined than ever. I'm proud of what you have accomplished during your time here and how you have elevated the academic reputation of Bentley to an even higher level. And you continue to raise the bar. You are smart, prepared, and ready to hit the ground running. Most importantly, I'm proud of who you have become. 4 years ago, you arrived as wide-eyed freshmen, having no idea what was in store for you, no idea where you were going or how you were going to get there. And now, sitting before me are the same women and men who have grown into confident, capable, focused, and goal-oriented people, who have a much clearer view of what their future looks like and are ready to make a difference in this world. I want to say thank you. Thank you for giving everything you have to Bentley, for making our student organizations, clubs, athletic teams, sororities and fraternities, community engagement activities, and service learning so meaningful and impactful. Your contributions to the Bentley community have made it a very special place and an institution to be proud of. Thank you for having strong values and for being great people, for being respectful and accepting of others' differences, for treating each other with care and compassion, for willingly giving your time to those in need, and for being positive role models on campus. You leave Bentley with the understanding that our world would be a far better place if we could all learn to value and respect each other. Finally, I want to thank you for the privilege of working with you for the last 4 years, for allowing your professors, advisors, coaches, staff members to become a part of your journey. We hope we've been a positive influence and have empowered you to do great things with your lives. You certainly have affected ours. Tomorrow is an end, but also a new beginning. Some of you may feel like your wide-eyed freshman selves again, unsure of what the future will hold for you. Believe me, you will figure it out. Rely on the skills, knowledge, and values you possess. You will thrive and you will succeed, provided you have learned your lessons well, make thoughtful decisions, and treat those around you with respect. So let's return to the locker room. As I mentioned, prior to every game during our basketball season, our team meets to review our game plan and receive final reminders for the opponent we are about to face. As our team gets ready to leave the locker room to take the floor, after another one of my rousing pregame speeches, players and coaches stand as a group with arms raised and hands together in a symbol of unity and strength. I say the following words: play like champions, meaning play to our high standards. We are the best team, play like it. Play hard, give it everything you've got, hold nothing back, have no regrets, leave it all on the court. Play smart, use your brain, make good decisions, rely on all you've learned to prepare you for this moment. And play together. You are all highly skilled and talented, but to succeed, you must combine your talents and work as a unit, bringing out the best in each other. We are much stronger together than we are individually. So, team, before you go out to face the challenges and competition that lie ahead, please stand up. Grab the hand of the person next to you and raise your hands up in unity and strength. Repeat after me. Play like champions.
Play like champions.
Play hard.
Play hard.
Play smart.
Play smart.
Play together.
Play together.
Bentley on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bentley!
Go get 'em, Falcons.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shalini Chandrakant, or Shals, as many of you know me as. And I want to thank you all for allowing me to share in this reflective time on the eve of our 2018 graduation. When thinking about why the class of 2018 is so nostalgic about leaving Bentley, there's something special to be said about the way passion manifests itself on our campus. It's never a clear-cut, this is the way to success or happiness. It truly crept up on us, calling us to engage, to act, to fall in love with this idea of what Bentley could be. We never went into a leadership opportunity thinking it would lead to awards or recognition, but rather we craved a sense of understanding in the community we had been placed. I feel that there was never a single aha moment where things clicked, but a series of minute tidbits of smiles, laughs, and late nights that changed us for the better. This is our passion. In 2014, our bright-eyed, naive, and at times overly optimistic selves entered a community that welcomed us with the good times at orientation and FYS, and the bad times watching Enron in 90-degree weather. We often thought about the life that we left behind and how that life would translate into the plethora of new beginnings. For me, as a first-generation multicultural student, I felt the desire to honor what my parents had worked so hard to provide me, but also learn what it meant to be a Falcon and own it. I came to Bentley, like many of you, overly confident in my abilities to adapt to my changing environment, from having to Google what the Cape was, to realizing that some of the best institutions were in Bentley's backyard. I couldn't help but think what I brought to the table from my Midwestern roots. Our first couple years at Bentley started with many firsts for everyone. Some of us had never seen a balance sheet or an income statement, let alone did our own laundry or planned our own meals. We sat in our introductory general business courses as temporary CEOs, grappling with balancing equations and analyzing company performance. The more we became invested in this education, the more we started to realize that maybe we really did belong here. These concepts challenged us, but I think what challenged us more was balancing our personal stories with the Bentley community. For many of us, these feelings of finding purpose manifested themselves into throwing ourselves into everything and anything. Greek life, intramural sports, clubs, you name it, our class was there, hungry for an opportunity that just made sense. Just seeing the ways we have invested in our community, I feel like we as a class have very similar sentiments about wanting to leave Bentley a better place than we found it. I find myself thinking not only how Bentley has changed us, but how we have changed Bentley. Just when it seemed like the group projects were coming to a close, the second half of our college experience threw us into group meeting after group meeting. GB 320 and GB 410 felt like a blur as many of us studied abroad, took the most challenging course curriculum, and got elected into leadership positions. These were the years that things finally started to click, and we had a multitude of aha moments. I remember during my semester abroad in Hong Kong, waking up at 6 a.m. to watch the Patriots win the Super Bowl, and seeing Bentley go crazy via social media. I was ecstatic to be in a different country, but in that moment, I realized I was so blessed to have a place and people I loved so much. It is in these moments of clarity where I feel that the class of 2018 left its mark on our campus. The Equity Center for me was a place I felt invigorated by passion. I feel that Bentley is a different and a better place because of the space the Equity Center gave students to have conversations about what it meant to celebrate Bentley's unique identities. And I know its new legacy will continue to grow even after we leave. I believe everyone has an Equity Center, a place that sparked the reason they fell in love with Bentley and fell more in love with the unique aspects of our community. In this moment, you might have not yet discovered the moments that clicked during your time here, but you're going to look back on these 4 years and one day realize that these were the experiences that shaped you, molded you, and changed you. All of us are trailblazing into unfamiliar territory after tomorrow. The point in all this is to not stop our passion for purpose and look back 10 years from now, longing for the same fire we had, but to continue to catapult into the future. If there's one thing I am certain of, it is that these past 4 years have taught us to embrace moments we just could not have planned for better or worse. As much as we are the class of 2018, we are sons, daughters, LGBTQ, multicultural, feminists, Democrats, Republicans, independents, and everything in between. I challenge you to exemplify what it means to be of the people, by the people, for the people, and continue to be the resilient change makers that our Bentley education taught us. Thank you, class of 2018, and congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mustafa Abdurrahman, and I'm an international student from Pakistan. So today, I will be reading the first 5 verses from chapter 96, Surah Al-Alaq from the Quran. These verses are considered to be the first revelation revealed to Prophet Muhammad from God through the angel Gabriel in the cave of Hira, where he would go to meditate. God has blessed us with the ability to learn, acquire, and record knowledge with the help of the pen. Our ability to preserve our advancements in science, technology, and the art has come through God's blessing on humanity to read, write, and do research. I hope all of us graduating will take these gifts and utilize them for the betterment of humanity and the world we live in. I will begin by reading the verse in Arabic, and I will proceed with the translation. Ikra bismi rabbika allazi khalaq. Halakal insana man alaq, ikra wa rabbukal lazi allama bil kalam, allamal insana ma lam yalam. In the name of Allah, the Lord of mercy, the giver of mercy, read, in the name of your Lord who created. He created humanity from a clinging form. Read, your Lord is the most bountiful one, who taught by the pen, who taught men and women what they did not know. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am extremely honored to be able to speak to you today. So thank you to my classmates and the organizing committee for this opportunity. Reminiscing about the past 4 years, I could not help to think about my first time on campus. As an international student, I did not actually set foot on Bentley until move-in day, which was both scary and exciting. And while I had some foreigner-specific fears, I also felt the same mix of emotions as every other first-year student. I wondered what major I was going to pursue, what clubs I wanted to join, and whether my GPA and my self-esteem were ever going to recover after taking GB 112. Reflecting on our time here, it is clear that while many things have changed, many others have stayed the same. We never stopped calling seasons by its true name, and our stomachs probably never adapted to its food. And we survived every winter hoping to have as many snow days as we did our freshman year. Each year, however, brought a combination of new experiences, challenges, and opportunities, change. And while some changes were sad, like the slow disappearance of Yek Yak, many more changes were positive. Some of us studied abroad, got a new internship, or simply enjoyed leaving trees and its unique smell behind. Now, although all of these changes were a pivotal component of our student life, it is worth reflecting on one of the major aspects that influenced us and mold our time here, people. The connections that we have formed with one another, with our professors, our coaches, and everyone else at Bentley left their unique and indelible mark on us. And the powerful thing about connecting with people is that just as others leave their mark on us, we, in turn, get a chance to influence their experiences, which is something that we may not always be cognizant of. Recall some of your fondest memories at Bentley. Celebrating a victory with your varsity team, feeling the adrenaline of performing in a cultural show, bonding with your closest friends in formals and pinnings, or simply playing spikeball and tanning on the green space. Think about your roommates. Think about your friends. The birthday parties you will never forget. Maybe you don't remember. Think about the nights you spent together, complaining about how much work you had, and yet proceeded to watch a movie together. And every other moment that made your Bentley experience unique and unforgettable. Think about the people that stand out in those memories. And realize that just like you remember these people with joy, others think of you when remembering their favorite times at Bentley. You see, our relationship with the university and its community has been symbiotic. As time passed and we became more comfortable with Bentley, as we allowed its people, its organizations, and its lifestyle to mold us into the people that we are today, without realizing it, we were doing the same for our friend and the community that we called home for 4 years. We are both the artists and the paintings of Bentley. So it is about people, but it is also about us and how we choose to interact with others. And this is not just a Bentley thing. It happens everywhere, all the time. So from now on, think, how do you want to impact other people's lives? How do you want others to remember you? Thinking of people today entails imagining a world without boundaries. And to prove this, we just have to look around us. We are submerged in a pool of diversity, composed of people from all over the US, people from outside the US, people who studied abroad in Spain, Italy, India, Australia, to name a few places. There are people who practice different religions, athletes, dancers from Craze and Step, and there are even people who think that GB320 was a fun class to take. Despite the differences, however, we all worked hard towards the same objective, and at this time tomorrow, we will all have achieved the same goal, to graduate from Bentley University. Connecting with people today means looking beyond the borders that separate us. And by borders, I do not mean the boundaries between states and countries, but the cultural, linguistic, and personal qualities that make us different. In a world where physical walls are being built, it is up to us to look beyond the differences that set us apart and value the diversity that we each bring to the table. 4 years ago, we gathered for convocation under the white tent in Upper Campus to celebrate the beginning of our Bentley career. Tomorrow, when we walk out of the tent for the last time, we will not only be taking a diploma with us, but also memories and connections that made these past 4 years a unique journey. As we leave Bentley and we venture into a new stage of life, I want to invite everyone to live in the present and make the best out of every moment. Because although the future is uncertain and exciting, life happens in the now, not in the later. And let's always be aware of the importance of connecting with people, both for others and for us. As we become adults and we enter the real world, let's surround ourselves with diversity, with people who bring the best out of us and challenge us to be better. And let's allow them to shape our experiences. And in doing so, let's strive to be that person whose attitudes and actions bring out the best in others. And let's never forget, once a Falcon, always a Falcon. Thank you, and congratulations to all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Anna Valente. Before I get into my spiel, I'd like to thank Reverend Robin Olson and Pierce Butler, who's not here today, for giving me this opportunity. I'm truly honored. During my 4 years at Bentley, I've been involved with the Buddhist sitting meditation group on campus. Part of our weekly practice consists of something called a koan practice, in which someone chooses a Zen passage, reads it to the group, and then interprets its meaning to open up a conversation about it. That's exactly what I'm going to do with you guys today. First, I'm going to share a passage from a book called Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit, which is included in the Boundless Way Zen Sutra book. Then I'll give my interpretation of its meaning. Hope in the dark. When we recognize uncertainty about the future, we realize we may be able to influence outcomes alone or in concert with a few dozen or several million others. Hope is an embrace of the unknown and the unknowable, an alternative to certainty. It's the belief that what we do matters, even though how and when it may matter, who and what it may impact are not things we can know beforehand. We may not, in fact, know our impact afterward either, but our actions matter all the same. So how is this relevant to the graduating class? From here on out, we are all officially adults, and we are going to be faced with many choices. We have to decide how to treat ourselves, what's the smartest investment or the best marketing campaign to run, and most importantly, how we want to conduct ourselves towards others in our daily lives, all of which are taxing choices. However, we need to remember that the world is a very uncertain place. We cannot demand certainty in this life or in the effects of our choices. But when we are faced with this uncertainty, we must meet it head on. In those moments of uncertainty, we are not powerless. We have the ability to set intentions and move with compassion, both of which speak to who we are and what we want to accomplish in this life. Always keep in mind that we have the ability to influence the world and individuals in a positive or negative direction. What you do matters, even in the face of uncertainty. For that reason, I encourage you to choose compassion and intend to do good in the world, always. Thank you, class of 2018. It has been a pleasure learning and growing with you all.
We pause now to remember those persons who have passed away and whose love remains with us. In tribute to them, we will pause in silent reflection. Then, we will recite the names contributed by our community, the Bentley class of 2018. We remember Herb Aronson, Selma Aronson, Melba Alzate, Jose Armando, Lauren Dunn Astley, Joan Ann Ballantyne, Irving Papa Barron, Mildred Barron, Michael Barons, Poppy Bermudez, Joanne Bradley, Montgomery Sears Bradley, James Burt Jr., Anita Carteret, Valder Carteret, Esther Camacho, Feng Chin, Gerald Coley, Dr. Avinash Contractor, Don Corvo, Sandy Corvo, Jorge Delano, Fabrizio De Rosa, Christine Doherty, Edward Doherty,
Marion Edelson, Joan Ferraro, Thomas P. Gaffney, Joseph Hughes, Joe Kiley, George Grampy Koslowski, Sandra Cravette, Anna Rosa Lozano, Kelly McLean, Margaret Maga, Teresa Mantilla, Abdil Marengo, William McElliott, Walter McGowan, Cameron Meza, Jillian B. Miller, Liz Morrison, Stevie Morey, Kathy Murphy, Maria Nata, Constance Newell, Jane Nye, Dexter Osgood, Betty Palacios, Carlos Perez, Jose Perez Cuesta,
Michael Powell, Margaret Purcell, Peter Purcell, Mark Resnick, Olga Rojas, Juan Bergenstein San Pedro, Destiny Sanchez, Robert Scher, Philip Thompson, Ruth Thompson, Fred Travellini, Jean Travellini, Amadeo Ubake, Dario Valencia, Grant Walsh, Alice E. Weaver, Arthur E. Weaver, David M. Weaver, Iris Walters, Diane Whalen, Ronald Francis Wozniak, Sandra Corrine Wozniak, Visma Wren, and Esperanza Zelaya. May their memories be a blessing. Amen.
Good evening. It has been my honor to be a member of the Bentley Catholic community over these past years. And for today, I chose a scripture from 1 Timothy 4. We labor and strive because we have put our hope in the living God. Command and teach these things. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Do not neglect your gift, which was given to you. Instead, be diligent in these matters. Give yourself wholly to them, so that everyone may see your progress. So watch your life closely and stay true to what is right. Fellow classmates, we are standing in celebration of our accomplishments at the end of a very long trial, college. But to roughly paraphrase the words of Paul, we are standing on much more than sleepless nights and energy drinks. We stand on hope. A hope that we have placed in something much greater. A hope instilled first by our loving families. This torch was passed on to us so that we might carry our lives forward to become great leaders, managers, CEOs, perhaps great parents, but above all, this hope we all carry with us today is a hope to become the greatest versions of ourselves. We cannot neglect this gift of hope. As Paul says, we must be examples in everything that we do. It is only by these acts of love that we can properly honor the gift of hope. So while we will venture far beyond these campus walls, we must remain diligent and give our lives to the same gift. For it is when we unite ourselves to God's sacrificial love that we will find our true worth.
Hi. My name is Kim Elias. Thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm very excited to start, but before I do, I also want to say thank you to my Oma, my grandmother. She's not only in the audience, but here on her 91st birthday. Thank you, Oma. We don't have a word for the opposite of loneliness, but if we did, I could say that's what I want in life, what I'm grateful and thankful to have found here, and what I'm scared of losing when we wake up tomorrow and leave this place. Those are great words, poignant, powerful, and evocative, especially since graduation is tomorrow. I should also mention that they're not my words. They're borrowed from a Yale graduate named Marina Keegan. She spoke to her class in 2012 about the intangible sense of togetherness that college gave her. She described this feeling of the opposite of loneliness and put into words something I've only ever been able to feel. A sense of the love and community and belonging we got from going through Bentley together. It's a feeling that we had to earn. We didn't start off freshman year excited for every moment here. I don't know about all of you, but I spent a fair amount of freshman year feeling lonely. I miss my parents and my brother, my high school friends, my dog. I miss the simplicity of knowing exactly what my day would be like and who would be in it. But one day, this girl in my FYS mentioned that she was going to Diwali, whatever that was. I had a mixture of curiosities, to see what the event was, but also to hang out more with her. I asked her to join, which sounds simple, even though it isn't. And what do you know? I'd say it worked out pretty well for us. I got to know someone who would eventually become my Grey's Anatomy watching buddy every Thursday, except when I'm not caught up. Sorry, Jen, I know I'm still behind. I remember the excitement of being invited to my first party, of meeting people where it just clicked. Do you remember the awkwardness of being surrounded by people, but not really knowing who to talk to? Walking around and hoping to see a familiar face. Now, my regular interactions with my beloved friends might suggest we're almost too comfortable with each other. I remember your first roommate, the discomfort from sharing a tiny space with a total stranger. I do. Little moments come to mind. Her laughter as I woke her up at 7 a.m., having spilled water everywhere from the Brita. Me, politely nodding and realizing she's a little crazy as she revealed her drawer full of pudding. I don't remember the moment when it turned from awkward to a friendship, but I can say I know the overwhelming love of finding a best friend in your freshman roommate. It was strange how quickly the loneliness started to creep away. No longer was I a single freshman lost in a sea of students who all seemed like they had it together. I saw it. I'm sure you all did too. We started to form our groups. We had people to study for 112 with, friends to bring to seasons, floor mates to stumble back at 2 a.m. with. The feeling of belonging was just starting. I could stand up here and tell you all so many memories I have over my last 4 years. Some would be reasonably quick, like the time my GB 320 group watched the sunrise together as we put the finishing touches on our business proposal. The night my roommates and I played cutthroat Disney trivia. Others would be longer. Ask me sometime about the night that started with a card game and ended with a walk by the pond at 5 a.m. But most of my memories here are moments that stories can't do justice. A friend calmly explaining supply and demand while I repetitively hit my head against the table. Starting a movie at 3 a.m. because no one wanted to go to bed. Crying on a friend's shoulder when it's all too much. Laughing, even when it wasn't funny. Your friend unironically asking the Uber driver to play Britney. The nights where simple conversations turned into screaming about goat's cheese at 4 a.m. So many of you are my friends and roommates. A lot of you are classmates. But many of you who transformed Bentley for me are people whose names I don't know, and I probably never will. The crowd at my first hockey game. The group that filled bleachers and caused Dana to echo with boos during Super Bingo. The group of strangers who high-fived me as we crossed the green space some Friday night. Tomorrow, things will be different. We'll be leaving a place full of people who made us feel the opposite of loneliness. People who transformed Bentley from the place I go to school to a place that feels like home. Even though it's time to let go, I'm feeling a little lost and lonely again. I think of Marina Keegan, who gave me the words to start this speech and define the opposite of loneliness. She passed away 2 weeks after her graduation in a car accident and never got to know if there was more. So I have a request for us. Before we hang out one last time tonight, before we cross this stage tomorrow in our caps and gowns, let's acknowledge the people that made us feel full, loved, and connected. Thank them. Tell them we're happy to have found them. And most importantly, keep them in mind on the next adventure. It's hard to leave all of you in this feeling, but it helps me to say this. Wherever we are and whatever we're doing, let's look for our new opposite of loneliness. I think life's too short not to. Thank you.
When I was first asked to speak today, I immediately knew which passage I wanted to read. Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 18, and the following in the weekly Torah portion called Shaftim, or Judges. This passage is so compelling because of the passion for justice in the text. It reads, "You shall not appoint judges and officials throughout your tribes, in all your towns that the Lord your God is giving you, and they shall render just decisions for the people. You must not distort justice. You must not show partiality, and you must not accept bribes, for a bribe blinds the eye of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right. Justice, and only justice, you shall pursue. The last 3 words in Hebrew are tzedek, tzedek, tirdov. Words are only repeated in the Torah if they are very meaningful. Shoftim explains that a system of justice is morally mandated. Treating everyone equally, regardless of race, religion, or class, is crucial for the advancement of society. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kiana Pierre-Louis, affectionately known around these parts as KPL. Good afternoon, all. I am truly honored and a little flabbergasted that I am standing before you today giving this year's Faculty Baccalaureate speech. I want to thank the 2018 Senior Class Cabinet for this incredible honor, and I hope I make you proud. When I was told I was nominated, I was extremely thrilled and humbled, but also a little curious as to why I was picked. So what did I do? I asked. I met with a few senior class cabinet members and asked, why me? They told me they felt that they were the class that stood for social justice. And since I am a vocal advocate for social justice, they couldn't think of anyone better. This made me proud, and I immediately accepted the nomination. It felt good that I was nominated for something I stand for and not just because I'm cool. We all know KPL's a little bit kind of cool. But seriously, if I'm known as one of the professors that is concerned with equal and equitable human rights for all individuals, then I know I have done my job. After I accepted, I was on cloud 9 until I realized I actually had to write and deliver a speech. I agonized over this speech because I knew I didn't want to do the normal speech on how to be successful when you graduate or overcoming the odds. I think each and every one of you has succeeded and overcome some odds in order to sit here today and graduate from Bentley University, one of the most prestigious business schools in the country. We all have a story of triumph and success. I definitely have one of my own and would love to share it, but today is not that day. What I will say about success is whatever you did to sit here today, keep doing it. Keep tapping into your support system, family, friends, mentors, and never stop asking for help. You are not alone on this journey, and continue to be students in this class called life. Now to the good stuff. As I started drafting this speech, I went back to why I was nominated in the first place, which was my advocacy for social justice. I decided to talk about something we hear every day, but few understand the meaning. That is diversity and inclusion. We hear this term almost daily, and most organizations have some sort of diversity and inclusion office, as we do here at Bentley. However, how many of you truly taken the time to understand what diversity and inclusion really means? I fear that this term is becoming so mainstream that we forget the true essence and meaning behind it. I have said this before in terms of the word ally. They're becoming so common and so cool to say that we forget what it truly stands for. You can't be a true ally just because you went to a training, put a sticker on your door, and talked to a few people. And you can't have true diversity and inclusion without the inclusive part, without actually making everyone a part of a whole. We should no longer be okay with optical illusions of allyship or optical illusions of diversity and inclusion. But we should strive for everyone having a true seat at the table with respect, acknowledgement, understanding, and compassion. You are graduating from a school that prides itself on teaching ethics. In my opinion, a good ethical leader is one who embodies respect and values the dignity and rights of others. One who is concerned with the kinds of values and morals an individual or a society finds desirable or appropriate, and one who demonstrates conduct of the common good. A good ethical leader is one who truly embodies and understands diversity and inclusion, and truly embraces others' cultures, ethnicities, religions, disabilities, gender, sexual orientation, and identities, even when you may not understand. So what is diversity and inclusion? Diversity means the state of being diverse, a variety, a range of different things. Inclusion means the action of including or being included with a group or structure. And inclusive means containing a part of a whole. You see, you can have diversity without inclusion, and often that is what we have, and yet we still call it diversity and inclusion. Just because we have a variety and a range of differences doesn't mean we are in an inclusive environment. I challenge you all to no longer want a society where there is diversity but very little inclusion. A society where we call ourselves allies but are only willing to be an ally in certain situations. We live in a world, society, community, university where we have become complacent with celebrating and designating things during a month. This is a great start, but we have been at that starting line for far too long. It is time to start doing more. Wouldn't it be better if we celebrate these things all year round? We're celebrating people, culture, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, identity, disability, and religion all the time becomes the norm. Ferris State University says inclusion is involvement and empowerment, where the inherent worth and dignity of all people are recognized. An inclusive organization promotes and sustains a sense of belonging. It values practices, respect for talents, beliefs, backgrounds, and ways of living of its members. To truly embrace this notion of diversity and inclusion, we need to empower and involve all others. Sometimes that means thinking less of your wants and needs and thinking about the wants and needs of others. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? So I challenge you to embrace the words people, passion, and purpose, and to become ethical champions of diversity and inclusion. To challenge the norm and to not allow your companies or organizations to be complacent. To harness your power and your privilege, and to speak up for others. Lastly, I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King. No one ever changed the world without first being labeled a troublemaker. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2018.
Listen to the wind of my soul. Where I'll end up, well, I think only God really knows. I've sat upon the setting sun, but never, 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 I never wanted water once. No, never, never, never. take me where my heart wants to go. I swam upon the devil's lake, but never, 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 I'll never make the same mistake. No, never, never, never. I listen to the wind of my soul. Where I'll end up, where I'll be, only God really knows. I've sat upon the setting sun, but never, 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 I never wanted water once. But never, never, never. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be with you today as chair of the Global Alumni Board, representing the alumni of Bentley University. Today, I'm going to speak with you about connections and influence. As humans, we start our lives dependent upon those people around us. As infants, we rely on others for the very basic things that sustain us: food, shelter, protection, and love. These are most likely provided by our parents, family members, and perhaps a close caregiver. Our needs evolve as we age such that we become more self-sufficient in some areas, but rely on others to give us the knowledge and skills needed to become independent. As this happens over time, the number of individuals upon which we depend grows. In addition to our parents and family members, we now rely on teachers, scout leaders, school counselors, coaches, and instructors. Eventually, we also seek advice and guidance from our friends and peers, and they seek the same from us. Over time, our dependence turns into interdependence. The essence of interdependence is connection. As a Bentley University student, your connections to others grew out of relationships you formed in your residence halls, your clubs, on the athletic field, and in the classroom. You have been influenced through your various connections, and you have, through your actions and words, influenced others. Tomorrow, as a graduate of Bentley University, your connections to others grows by 60,000, and your ability to impact others in your university grows also. As an alum, you join a robust network of people with whom you share a special connection. I encourage you to take full advantage of all Bentley offers its alumni. In the spirit of interdependence, I also encourage you to do everything you can to help Bentley. Spread the good news about your university and its students in as many ways as you can. Become a mentor. Represent Bentley at recruiting events. Meet others in your local alumni chapter and volunteer to organize events. Make a donation to the annual fund every year. These are just some of the ways that you can stay connected to Bentley University and become an influential member of the Bentley University Alumni Association. Remember, you are a student for 4 years, but an alumnus for life. On behalf of the Bentley alumni, class of 2018, welcome to the family and congratulations. Thank you.
Will the class of 2018 please stand? I invite you to turn to the back of your program and join me in the charge to the class. Your response is printed in the yellow, bold text. Class of 2018, we stand together in a spirit of joy and gratitude on this wonderful day. Let us be mindful of all the people who have enabled us to reach this moment. We give thanks to the gifts inherited from our families, the loving support of our friends, and the wisdom of our teachers and mentors.
Fellow Falcons, we have been prepared to be compassionate, nimble, and proud. Let us pledge ourselves to a lifelong passion for community and learning. We remember that all life is a sacred worth and that the world's communities are interdependent. We dedicate our intellect and character to the pursuit of fairness and justice.
Bentley Brave, we stand on the threshold of our future lives. Let us step forward with integrity as we continue to seek purpose and meaning. May we have the courage to stand up for what we believe is right, advocate for inclusion and equity, and love one another to the fullness of our capacity. We give thanks to the divine source of all goodness and blessing. Amen. Now I invite everyone to stand as you are able for the final blessing.
Our Bentley Spiritual Life team extends our interfaith blessings to you. From the words of the American poet Gwendolyn Brooks, we are each other's business. We are each other's harvest. We are each other's magnitude and bond.
May the one bless and keep you all. Amen.
May the divine Creator shine upon you and give you peace.
May you live in confident trust without worry for tomorrow.
And may you go forth to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Amen. Woo. Amen.